people are quick to deem it and be like, damn, this classic, right? But then it's just like, dog, you need to let this music breathe in order for you to be able to deem it that. Because if you look at what the definition of classic is, you can't deem something a classic just based off of it being there for a week and you haven't listened to it and said, yeah, this is a classic. Classic meaning high in quality. It's the traditional style, high quality, and it's value because it has a traditional style, right? That is not definitely the definition we're going to use as far as when we talk about classic music nowadays. We're talking about like music, something has to be able to stand up. Like, does it still sound good 5 years later? You know, does it still sound good 10 years later? And there's a reason. I mean, we from the same era, right? There's a reason why now these songs 30 years ago, when folks from our generation and those a little bit before us, and even those a little bit after us, when they hear it and those songs go up, it's the reason why we know these songs and know every single word, why we yell the hooks to the top of our lungs, because it brings you back to a time when the music served not just as a soundtrack of your life, it served as really the shaping of who you were as a person, right? The memories that you took into adulthood. And nowadays, you just don't have too much of that because everybody can do music. And to be quite honest, everybody's not really trying that hard, or it doesn't seem like they are, right? So the reason why folks from my generation get so hyped when we see Nas drop 3-6 back-to-back albums, all of them banging. The reason why every time we hear a whole feature nowadays and we get excited hearing that, the reason why when we hear our artists come out and we see them still excelling and recording music and doing well is because we remember what it was like back then. And when we really say the phrase, y'all wasn't outside, like, honestly, you had to be there to understand what it is that I'm talking about, because you can read all the articles, right? Nothing can prepare you or even educate you to you having been there, having been in the moment, having breathed it, having smelled it, having tasted it, having experienced it. Because it's a different experience when you experience it versus you hearing secondhand information. So that's the reason why now everybody wants to call it a classic, because shit watered down, man. It is.
Because you delineate that perfectly, brother. I can't even add nothing to it, so I won't. But let me just say, now. I mean, when something is, hey, it's a punctuation. We leave it alone. Let me pivot a bit though. Okay, now. Okay. You, me, we from the generation when we used to have to get our ass up and go to a store to get somebody's album. When you took me through that nostalgic run of all the good music in '98, you almost made me cry. Yeah. When you just gave me that list and that litany of, I didn't even know all them folks had them type of albums in '98. Because let me ask you, and here's my opinion on this, and I want your take on it. I'm gonna throw you the lob. I want you to dunk it.
Okay.
We had a deeper connection and loyalty with our artists in our era because of the fact we stood in line to get your album. Your album was something. We took the wrapping off the paper. We would open it up and look at the liner notes, and we would do all of that. We felt it was a real connection, and we had nothing else. When Jigga dropped, we was all gonna listen to that over and over and over and over. There was nothing. It wasn't this mass consumption or this mass proliferation of music all at one time. Because how do you feel that has changed and impacted the game? If that's a lot to unpack.
Well, no, it's perfect. It's changed because the way you get music also changes. You know, we talked about the volume, right? So we talked about volume already. Everybody's releasing, like, you don't know what comes out the last week, 2 weeks ago, a month ago. 6 months ago is an eternity now. You know what I'm saying? When you go 6 months out, it'll be like, oh, this person released this album 6 months ago. You like, yo, my mind's so far removed from that shit, I don't even remember that anymore.
When that shit come out.
Exactly. So we talk, the volume is one thing though, but then the medium in which you receive it changes as well. To get your ass up, get in the car, or for those of us who didn't drive back then, either to get your ass on public transportation, or get a ride
to the mall, take your ass to the mall, Sam Goody, somewhere like that.
Take your ass to Sam Goody. For me, it was Circus City. Other people, it was Maxie's, The Wiz,
Best Buy, shit like that.
Tower Records, all these different Best Buy. To go there to get the album, to stand in line, to purchase it with your money, to unwrap the CD, to unwrap the tape, to put it in, to press play and to listen to it, and knowing that you had to listen to it and invest time into do it was easy. Nowadays,
talk about
go ahead. I could check on this bad boy. I could pull up my Apple Music. I could pull up my Spotify. I could pull up my title, and I could go to see what's been released. And all I gotta do is sit there and press play. You know, I could listen, eat my breakfast, and listen to my music without having to plug up a stereo, without having to get a Walkman, without having to use any player stereo in my house. And I can do that. I can listen to it on the way to work and never have to have a physical product in my hand, right? So it changes because of two things. One, the volume is outstanding. So when you have volume of something, you don't have the appreciation for it. It's not valued as much when you have like supply and demand, right? When supply is high, the price is low. When the supply is low, the price goes up because the demand is a lot higher.
Yes,
so,
yes, sir.
And then when you get the way that you consume the product now is that somewhere where it's like it's so easy that you can dismiss it, right? Because it's one thing when you got to stop the car and then the CD stop playing and you take the disc out and bring it inside the house to go listen to it, or take the tape out, bringing it to the house to go finish listening to it. You could literally stop your car, listen to it, and continue listening to it as you get out of the car and walk in the house.
That's a
you
fact.
know?
That's a fact.
So the way that we consume the music has changed. It's almost like, imagine if 90% of your diet was fast food.
Well, that's a trash ass diet. That's a trash ass diet, B.Cox.
Trash diet. So the way the food is being made faster. They're not using as quality ingredients as they used to use. And nowadays, you don't even have to leave your house to go get it. Somebody will bring you fast food to your house for a certain fee, and you never have to get off of your couch, right? So imagine what them trips back in the days. I'm gonna use this because, you know, hey, y'all might not mess with it now, but when you actually used to be able to go to McDonald's or go to Pizza Hut or go to Burger King or somewhere, and you was making that drive over there thinking about what it is that you was gonna get. You ain't got that no more, man. It's the same shit with the music though. And so when you have high volume, and then you also have the way that you consume the music is also so quick to the point where it's like making instant oatmeal, you know, and that it's, you kind of forget about it, right? So it's, you know, like I said, 6 months passed by and an album came out, and you actually have to stop and think about, like, damn, I actually need to go listen to this shit again, right? Because I need to remember what the fuck was on it. I mean, that's just saying.
You were like, and what did this nigga say again?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, shit. When they put out the Grammy nominations for this upcoming Grammy cycle, I'm just like, oh shit, okay, I remember some of these joints. I mean, the only joint really I knew for real was the Killer Mike joint and Nas joint. You know what I'm saying? And the rest of them joints, I was just like, okay, you know, it's
I guess
so. I guess so. You know, if this is what we have, and I don't mean to poo-poo anybody and the artists out there who are grinding and doing their thing, man. But just remember, yo, things have changed, man. You know. So those of us old heads are gonna kind of complain about things and say these things because we remember what it was like back outside. It was like when you had to go and get the music, and then the process to listening to it took the process. You appreciated the process because if the artist had to go through something to make this, and then you had to go through something to listen to it, it made you want to consume the music and then learn more about it, right? Because you hear a song, that song makes you want to figure out what made him come up or made her come up with this and make this song. Like, we also used to follow the artist back then, and it was easier because you knew if somebody was on Rap City coming up that week,
man,
the album was about to drop. If they was about
you couldn't wait. You couldn't wait.
And I'm gonna take you back. I remember Rap City in the Basement with Tigger, right? Because
come on now,
that was me in high school. I'm gonna take it back even further. I remember watching Rap City with Cleezy and Big Les, Joe Claire and Big Les. Okay,
hey, I'm with you.
And so you knew when that was happening, you knew somebody was about to drop an album and they was going to give you some content, and you were going to hear the stories, and you were going to hear the content that would get you psyched about listening to the album. And the same thing about Video Soul, same thing about Planet Groove, for a certain respect. Same thing, I guess, on TRL. You know, you would have this, and eventually, as a transition into 106 in Park, you know,
Yeah,
you got
AJ.
you got the
Yeah.
opportunity to sit down and talk to artists, and you wouldn't hear from them regularly every day, especially seeing and laying eyes on them and getting an interview that you would hear and listen to, and then they would show the videos, and then to see the videos, right? The videos back then, I mean, we had our fair share of ratchetness and debauchery, right? We did. I mean, there's some music videos back then that by today's standards are definitely tame, but back then it was just like, oh nah, you need to turn the channel, like, you know, for your mama come in the room, because you ain't supposed to be looking at that. Man, especially some of them West Coast artists, man, when them pool parties and the girls that was in the videos, when they used to blur out when the girl top came off and her titties was out.
Hey,
like that type
of nowadays that'd be like an after school special. This generation.
Nowadays, it's like a warm up, man. You can go on Twitter and see that. You see somebody titties, bare titties, just out there, right? And so, but you would see the music videos, and the music videos would have concepts. Like they would have a plot. It would be something that watching the videos would even get you more hyped to buy the album as much as well, because you then had a visual to pair with what you were hearing, right? That movie type thing. It's just like the reason why movies were so popular. You had a visual to pair with whatever it was that you were hearing. And now I kind of feel like, yo, people coming out with videos, man, but you can consume the videos the same way you listen to the music. We got YouTube, Vivo, Daily Motion, all the different other Vimeo, all the different other places you could put your video stuff out there now. And you could go directly now to support your artists on their Vivo channel, on their YouTube channel. And it's not more so about going and listen to it, man. The damn music channels don't even have music videos on no more. Ain't no music videos on BET no more. Ain't no music videos on MTV and VH1 no more. They got reality shows and game shows on them bad boys, man. And that's how we consume the music.
Man, you made me fucking fuck around. I forgot VH1. Duh, used to play music videos. BET used to play music videos.
That was why we watched BET, man. We watched BET. For those of us who came up of a certain era, Friday nights was like, yo, you know, you having Video Soul Top 20 Countdown. And for me,